Hello students, welcome to Btech360. This has been a long-standing demand from many of our students of those colleges which are better than IITs, NITs and triple IITs or as good as IITs, triple IITs and NITs but are available beyond an examination, which means you don't take an examination but you still can get into a college which delivers good outcome, a better outcome or even at least an equal outcome as compared to many of the NITs, many of the IITs and many of the triple IITs. We should all know one simple rule that not all IITs are good, not all NITs are good, not all triple IITs are good. And there are quite a few colleges that have been there for ages in this country which deliver far better outcomes than some of these new age NITs, triple IITs and IITs. And what we're trying to cover, this is a series. We're going to do a series of about 30 colleges. 30 colleges, every day one college, which will tell you, inform you and keep you abreast of certain things which are very important for you to know, which is the college that you can apply to, which delivers a fantastic outcome. Now, these are colleges which don't participate through JOSA counseling. These are colleges that don't go through any examination. These are colleges where they actually take an all India admission thing. It might be 15% only or 30% only or whatever it is. But they do have openings for students from all over the country to come and join them. But in their particular state at a local level, they're the best out there in the game. And they're so good that in many of these states, the NITs and triple IITs are less preferred and this particular colleges are more preferred. We're going to unravel or unveil every single day one single college which should be a part of your consideration set. How you get into it is of course your own choice, but you should keep that as a part of your consideration set and see whether you can actually get into these colleges. Of course, if you get into the IIT Madras, Delhi, Bombay and all, you must go there. Of course, you get into NIT Surathkal, Warangal and Roorkela and all, you must get there. But beyond some of those IITs and NITs and all, the next bunch of IITs and NITs that you actually have, the college that we're going to talk about from here on would measure up to them, maybe better than them or equivalent to them, but it must be something which you must be part of a consideration set. So keep watching us every single day. We're going to unravel that one college. Before I move further, 3 requests for you. Please subscribe to Btech360. 2, if you want to talk to a counselor, there is a WhatsApp number, message us and we'll have a counselor call you up. And 3, most importantly, if you want us to cover any college of your choice, write to us and my research team will be working on it and I'll come and present it for you. Now let's talk about this particular one. This is the first of the college. I told you we'll unravel 30 colleges. We'll unveil 30 colleges that you must look at. They're private colleges, but go through other counselings and not through JOSA counseling. They've been there for ages. They deliver better outcomes, which is placements. And they have fantastic alumni all over the world. These are simple qualification criteria that we have measured up with, and this is what we're going to report, right? The first college that I'm going to talk about, this is the first in the series that we're doing, this is one of India's earliest private engineering colleges established in 1963, right? Now, in fact, it is one of the first self-financed private college in the country. One of the first self-financed private college in the country. Its placements are about 17 lakhs per annum for BE program. Now, think about it. How many colleges actually have a 17 lakh median salary at a Btech level? Btech or BE, right? Not many IITs, not many NITs, and very few, triple IITs would talk about that. And for MTech, it's about 12.73 lakh. But let's stick with the 17 lakh, which is B, which is an undergrad program. The higher salary is about 67 lakhs and 39 lakhs for MTech, but we'll stick with the UG program, right? The admissions to this college are through KCET. The thing about KCET examinations, KCET is Karnataka Common Entrance Test. Now, the Karnataka Common Entrance Test reserves only 50% or 55% seats through the thing. The other private colleges are open to get students from outside also, which is where your opportunity is. This is the best and the most preferred college in Karnataka. But students from all over the country can get into this college through an alternate path, which will explain to you of how it will work out also. It is located in Bangalore. Now, any college that's located in Bangalore has a very, very good advantage because it's a software capital of the country. Because it's a software capital of the country, there are a lot of companies that are out there. And if you're a tech enthusiast or if you're a BTech student, you're most likely to get a very, very good job out there because it's the center of everything that's happening in software capital of the country in India. And to that extent, a lot of companies are seeking good people. And if you join a decent college also, you'll get a great opening out there. And it's recognized as a center of excellence under the Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, which is a Government of India enterprise. It is called TechWhip. technical education, quality improvement program, and it is rated as the best. In fact, it won a lot of gold medals in many of the BTU exam, medals tally also, right? In 2008, the college recorded the highest number of gold medalists among institutions affiliated to BTU, Visvesvaraya Technology University. One more thing that we are doing as Career 360, because a lot of students and parents have asked us whether they can actually speak to us to understand how they can go around this KCET counseling process. So we set up a few sessions on KCET counseling only. You need to register in this thing. There is a comment, if you look at the first comment out here, there's a registration link that is there. This is only for KCET counseling. All you need to do is to register there, or tell us what your examination and everything is, and join our webinar where you can also ask questions to our counselors and we'll be able to respond to you. So if you want that, please, do register for this particular event. And most importantly, for people who are participating in that, we're also trying to speak to some of the colleges and universities to ensure that there are some perks that are given, which can be a free application form and those kind of things. So please do join that and take all those benefits, if you will, right? So what we're talking about is an institution which has been excelling in its space, has been there for the last 63 years. This was established in 1963, one of the first self-financed private colleges in the country, and have been delivering very, very good outcome for ages, right? So that is the college. And what is the college name? It is RV College of Engineering, which is RVCE, which is in Bangalore in Karnataka. Now, let's be very clear, we should not confuse ourselves with RV University and RV College of Engineering. We're talking of RV College of Engineering, which is the part of BTU, which is Visvesvaraya Technology University. Now, why do we recommend that? We need to know the numbers also, right? Just look at the numbers and then we'll get into it. This is established in 1963, so 63 years old. Now, whenever an institution is 63 years old, such long period, their alumni would be all over the country. They'll be occupying senior positions across the country, across big companies, and that will always be an advantage for you, which is what RV is. Because one, it's software capital of India. Most of its alumni would be working in different companies around Bangalore, around India, and globally also. And because they are there, they'll always come back to the alma mater to start recruiting from there, which is where RV would be well positioned at this point. I would not give much credit to NRF ranking, because NRF ranking also gives weightage for demographic diversity, which means that students from all over the country and all. And typically local colleges which go through the state counseling examination will suffer in the process, right? And research and all, because they're standalone engineering college, mind you. But otherwise, if you ask me, this will be between 50 and 60. Right, but I'll show you why it is far better in terms of placement numbers. So I'll come there also. The campus size is about 17 acres of land. Total students is 5,050, of which 75% are boys, 25% are girls. Now, this college takes admissions through KCET, which is Karnataka Common Entrance Test, right? But 29% students come from outside the state. That is where your entry parameter would be. You would be coming through into this particular college through this pathway. 29% of the students are from outside the state of Karnataka. Now, we're no longer talking of Bangalore, we're talking of Karnataka. 29% of the students are from rest of India and beyond Karnataka, which is where your opportunity lies. The 71% of course are from within the state, and 362 faculty for 5,050, which means that we're dealing with about 1:13, 1:14 kind of a student faculty ratio. Now, let's look at the placement statistics based on NIRF. Now, NIRF is Government of India data. So this is data submitted by colleges to Government of India for ranking purposes, which means it's filed on an affidavit, so it's slightly more authentic than many other things, because you don't, typically, give blatant lies on an affidavit. We are hoping that's the case. So this is the data based on NIRF data. The last data that we have of NIRF is on 22-23, with 1,060 students, were admitted, 1,145, because there is also lateral recruitment that happens here. 1,145 were admitted, 1,072 graduated, place is 810, and opted for higher studies is 95. The placement is 83%, and the median salary is 10 lakhs. By the way, this is 22-23. Now we are 3 years ahead. But that's the last authentic data that we found, which is on the Government of India website, so we took that. But when you look at the last year's data, which is on the college website itself, we have data for 2026, and let's look at BE only for them. 192 companies visited, number of offers made 698, number of students selected 654. Average salary is 16.86 lakh. This is not median salary, this is average salary. And the highest salary is 67 lakhs. Right? So we're talking of 17 lakh kind of an average salary. Now, I understand that as we move along, I'll start talking about for possibly median salary. But as far as I know, median salary and average salary, the difference would be 5% plus or minus. So I'm taking that liberty of comparing the average salary with the median salary for the time being. Right? And this is MTech and MCA, we're leaving that for the time being because we're talking of only BE at this point. By the way, MCA and BCA also, their integrated programs are very, very good because if you look at the average salary, 12.73 and 8.79 lakh, right? And the offers made, everything is very, very good. Now, when you look at placement statistics of 2025, right? And we compared it with IITs. I told you earlier that we are trying to understand what is IITs offer, what does NITs offer, what do triple IITs offer, and comparing it with these 25-30 colleges that we're about to mention on a daily basis. The idea is to keep your options open. The idea is to expand your options and see if you can actually get into a very good college, which might not be in your consideration set, but because of our exposure of the data, our exposure of that particular college, you might actually take that as one of the strong points and start applying to that college. So when you look at that data, we had data from 23 IITs, 31 NITs, and 15 triple IITs. Right? The average salary of these colleges is 16.2 lakh for IITs, 10.5 lakh for NITs, and 11.7 lakh for triple IITs. So by the way, this 16.2 lakh, 10.5 lakh, and 11.7 lakh is the average of the median salaries of across 23 IITs here, across 31 NITs here, and across 15 triple IITs that are here. So what we did was we took all the median salaries and averaged it out, and this is what we're getting it. And remember, what is the kind of average salary that we have for RV college? 16.87 lakhs, if I remember correctly. That's about 17 lakhs. So just imagine now, if I were to compare all NITs, all triple IITs and all, of course, you'll also have the baby IIMs and bottommost IITs, IIMs, and all those things will happen. And if I were to take the average salary of an individual IIT or an individual triple IIT or NIT of less than 16 lakhs, you actually have 10 IITs of the 23 where the average salary is less than 16 lakh rupees, which is what we're talking of RV college. For all the 31 NITs, the average salary, median salary is less than 16 lakh rupees, and that is something you must know. And for 11 of the 15 triple IITs, it's the same thing. Of course, you can actually very clearly see triple IIT Bangalore, Hyderabad and all would be doing far better. But otherwise, so you actually have about 52 of the numbers that you have there, about 68 of them that you see there, where the average salary is less than what RV college offers at this point in time, which is what we are mentioning here. Like if you look at it, IIT Dhanbad, it's 15th best engineering college in the country. The average salary is 12 lakhs. RV is 16 lakhs, and it's ranked 100 to 150. IIT Jodhpur, 27th best engineering college, 12 lakh rupees. RV is 16 lakhs. IIT Bhubaneswar, 39th best engineering college, 14 lakh. But RV is 16 lakhs. Come to NITs, even for NIT Trichy, it's 14.35 lakh. NR rank is 9th best college in the country. RV is 100 to 150 rank band, but it gives you 16.5 lakhs. Same thing with NIT Rourkela, 15.25 lakh. NIT Delhi, 15.9 lakh. And RV is 16.85 lakhs. And that is the reason why we are asking you to look at this college. Now, obviously, the obvious question that you will have is, how do I get into this particular college? We'll explain that. Keep watching us to the last slide. It's very important for you. So you don't watch us because we wanting to watch, help you out. The important thing is you need to be sure that the data that we are about to present would be of help to you, and because of it, you want to watch this. What is the thing? If you look at the seat matrix that you have in this in RV college, these are the number of seats that you have. 60 in aerospace, 60 in biotechnology, chemical engineering 40, civil 60, computer science 120, and computer science engineering 285. This is AI and ML, by the way, and that's what the software capital of the country would do for you. Now here, when you have the total number of seats, there is a category that they have of people who come through state entrance examination, people who come through the COMEDK, which is Common Merit List examination, and then All India quota, which is called the management quota. Right? From the 60 seats, for example, if you say CSE, you have 285 seats here. Of the 285, through the Karnataka entrance examination, which is called KEA, you actually have, we also call it KCET, 128 seats are only there. Of the 285, only 128 come through KEA, which is state government seats, right? And then, and within this 128, you also have this, right? And after that, you actually have Comet K, which is a common entrance examination for colleges in Karnataka who have their own entrance examination for all the private colleges in Karnataka, and they admit students through a merit list from that. The government of Karnataka made sure that even if you come through a different quota, the merit is maintained. So 30% of the seats, right, are going through Comet K, and it is called Category 2. Category 1 has 45% seats. Category 2 has 30% seats, which are coming through Comet K. So you want to get into RV College of Engineering, you need to write a Comet K examination. You might be outside the state of Karnataka, so you can apply for Comet K and come here. The third thing is, you don't want to write Comet K also. There is a management quota, which is 25% seats. You have not written any examination, you can come through management thing, and there are 71 seats. And all this 71 plus 86 plus 128 go up to 285. They also have extranumerary, which is SNQ, they call it 14 seats. Right. Now, this entire game is that they actually first, through Karnataka students, there is a merit list that's created. Then for all India students, they actually have an examination called Comet K, where you take the examination and get a part of that merit list, where there's a different fee structure. The fee structure for a state student is different. The fee structure for a Comet K student is different, and the management quota seats is very, very high. But if you can afford it, you can get in. And that is what these numbers are, right? So in all, that's how you deal with it. And across the board, you see the same thing: 60 seats, 45%, and then 30%, and then 25%. Right? And that continues through the thing. This 31 plus 34 plus 27, 61. So the entire numbers is through that seat matrix. The seat matrix is very clear. 50% for the state students, 45% for the state students, 30% come from the Comet K examination. You might be belonging to the state of Karnataka or outside the state of Karnataka also, but the fee structure is different. And then 25% come from the management quota category. And there they ask for a bomb. They ask you for a serious amount of money, but it is worth it if you can afford it, because you get into the best group where the peer group is very good, the quality of student is very good, the teaching is very good, the companies are very good, and the employment is very good too. Now, what are the numbers if you deal with this and then get into the zone? What is the kind of seat matrix that you have in terms of the other branches we are talking of? So what you have ultimately is, earlier I showed you one particular branch, you have 1,285 seats all put together in RV College of Engineering, of which 578 are going through KEA, Karnataka Engineering Admission, and the examination is KCET, Karnataka Common Entrance Test. Category 2, which is Comet K, is 386 seats, and Category 3, which is Management, NRA and everything, is 321 seats. And then you have a SNQ quota over and above the intake, which is 64 seats. Now, all this together, 1,285 plus 64 is what you have, of which you are getting into it. If you're an all India student, you might get into it through the 386 or 321. If you're state of Karnataka, you can get through this 578 and Comet K. That's the number. And please take down, I'm not going to read out each of these numbers of how many seats and all those things. Take a screenshot of this and you'll exactly understand what we're talking about. Now, what is the fee that you have? If you're coming through KCET examination, which is a state, now the state obviously wants their own students to be paying lesser amount of money, so the fee is regulated. And essentially what most states do is, they regulate the fees for the state students, which the college collects from an outside student because of the quality of intake that it has, right? So the state student actually ends up paying only 1,12,410 rupees, right? 1,12,410 rupees if you're a state student per annum. And this includes the government college, for aided college, etc., and BTU constant college, higher fees. And for RV, it is 1,12,410, right? If your category income is less than 2.5 lakh rupees, it is 88,000 only. And so on and so forth. You actually again can see this. This is the thing for KCET. So student coming in from KCET, which is 45% of the seats. The fee is 1,12,000 rupees or 88,000 depending on your income category, and that's what you will be. The next level is this. If you're going through, By the way, what is the kind of cutoff you need? And look at the competition that we're dealing with. Remember earlier, how many seats are there if you go through this? For example, CSE, you have 285 seats altogether, right? And KE has 128 seats. Now look at the competition that you're dealing with here. For BE Computer Science Engineering, the highest closing cutoff in the open category is 499. Now, just to put things in perspective, there are about 3.3 lakh students who took the examination, registered for the examination for KCET, right? 3.3 lakh students, 3.1 lakh students appeared for the examination. This is registered, right? So 3.1 lakh students appeared for the examination. For you to get 499, what is the percentile you need? 99.95 percentile. That's the number that you need. If you work backwards, you'll understand what I'm saying. For each 310, you're actually dealing with 1.1, right? So this is actually 99.98 percentile. That's the kind of percentile you need to get that rank to get into RV College of Engineering for the CSE branch. Same for AI 742 is the highest closing rank. Data Science 944 is the highest closing rank. Cyber Security 990 is the highest closing rank. Electronics 1100 is the highest closing rank. B Electronics and Telecommunications is 1507, and so on and on. But all these things essentially mean that you need to be 99.5 percentile and above to be a part of any of these things. And you also have the category rank for OBC, SC and ST. Please note it down. That's the category rank that you're dealing with, right? Now the next part, for other branches also, please take a screenshot of this. For Aerospace 2069, Electrical and Electronics 2783, Mechanical 5812, Biotechnology 6814, Civil Engineering 10832, Chemical 11049, and Industrial Engineering 15717. And the category ranks also are there. Please note it down, right? Now, this is the kind of competition it has. At 15,000 also, if you just think about it, you're dealing with 95 percentile to be a part of BE Industrial Engineering and Management out there. Because 3.1 lakh students appeared for the KCET examination. That's the kind of competition you're dealing with at a core level also. Even Aerospace is 2069, which is less than 99, it's 19.3 percentile. That's how competitive it is to get into this college. Right. Now, the second part of it is COMEDK. The first part of it we talked of KCET examination if you're a student of state of Karnataka. Now, let's look beyond state of Karnataka and look at the whole thing, right? This is through the COMEDK examination. Here, the total seats are the following. Aerospace is 18, Biotechnology is 18, Computer Science is 18, Chemical is 12, this is Data Science of course. CS with AI and ML is 54, CSE is 108, and so on and so forth. These are total 108 seats that you have. And you can move on and on. The next slide would have the other branches also, right? These are total branches that you have. Now, the important thing that you must notice here is the fee. If you recall earlier, I talked to you about the KCET student paying about 1,12,000 rupees fees. The COMEDK student pays about 3 lakh rupees per annum as the fees. Across the board, they pay about 3 lakh, which essentially is about 3 times more than what a state student pays. Now, a student from Karnataka also can possibly appear through COMEDK and come through this whole thing, but you are essentially paying 3,01,000 rupees as fees, right? That's the second part of it. Now, the third part of it, which is what is the kind of seat matrix that they have and fees we already discussed with you. What is the highest closing rank of COMEDK to get into these branches? When you look at that, again, extremely competitive. For CSE, it should be 692 is the highest closing rank, open category. For data science, it's 890. For AI and ML, it's 975. For cybersecurity, it's 1091. For ECE, it is 1399. For B Electronics and Telecommunications, 1790. EEE is 2424. Aerospace is 6429. Mechanical is 7032. Chemical is 13038. Industrial Engineering is 17,533. Biotechnology is 18,883. And Civil is 20,917. Very competitive. If you look at it, this bunch you're dealing with, less than 1790, which is 99 percentile is what we're dealing with. So unless you get 99 percentile in COMEDK also, very difficult for you to get into any of the preferred branches where it's very competitive. You need to be actually 99.5 percentile and above to get into RV at COMEDK level. Now the third part of it is management quota. Management quota, 25% fees, is the quota that you have, I told you earlier, and besides SNQ. Now here it's very, very expensive. I earlier told you about per annum fees 1,12,000 rupees for KCET, which means 5 lakhs over the 4.5 lakhs over the 4-year program. For COMET K, it is 3 lakh per annum into 4 years, 12 lakh rupees. But when you come to management quota, if you look at CSC, for example, computer science, engineering, data science, the fee is 60 lakh rupees. Remember, 12 lakh rupees, 60 lakh rupees, 5 times. The fee is 5 times of COMET K, right? 5 times of COMET K. Or if you deal with it at the KCET level, where it's 4.5 lakh rupees fees, it is 12 times of KCET. That's the kind of fee that you're dealing with. But students still prefer it. It's very difficult for you to get in, even through the management quota, because they still go through some kind of a merit list. They want good students to come in. So it's not that you can throw 60 lakh rupees and get in there. You need to be also a decent student to get in there. That's what you need to understand. So what the state does is, the private colleges fund or subsidize the fee of some of those other students by collecting this kind of fee from 25% students. And that's how the fee is distributed. This is what you must understand. And if you look at it, civil is 28 lakh rupees, mechanical is 28 lakh rupees, electrical and EEE is 28 lakh rupees. Come to ECE, it is 43 lakh rupees, industrial engineering is 24 lakh rupees, chemical is 18 lakhs, CSC is 75 lakhs. 75 lakhs. So if you now look at it, 12 lakhs and 75 lakhs, 6 times. Right? And if you deal with it as 4.5 lakhs and 75 lakhs, you're dealing with about 15 times, 20 times. That's the kind of fee that you're dealing with, right? Electronics and telecommunications is 32 lakhs, biotechnology is 28 lakhs, aerospace is 35 lakhs, CSC with AI and ML is 67 lakhs, and CSC with cybersecurity is 55 lakhs. So you look at this, 55 lakhs, 67 lakhs, and 75 lakhs. But 25% of the seats are there. I've already told you how many seats are there here. The number of seats that are there in management quota is 28% seats. 25% seats all put together. You have that in the very first seat matrix. We also looked at data on LinkedIn of those students who claim that they studied at RV and how are they performing. It's very important for you to know. It's not just about the past year's batch, but because it's got a history of about 63 years, how are the students performing in their lives, in their careers, and for that we sort out data from LinkedIn. When we looked at that data, there were 47,726 students who are alumni of RV College of Engineering who are right now on LinkedIn. When we looked at that data, at this point in time, 316 students are working in Oracle. At this point in time, 296 students are working in Amazon. At this point in time, about 296 students are working in Qualcomm. And in EY, 106 students are working. Many of these students had worked at Oracle, 963 worked at Oracle, and they would have moved on for better opportunities, career growth, and moved jobs also. In Amazon, 913 students worked at some point in time. In Qualcomm, 537 students worked at some point in time. And in EY, 342 students worked at some point in time. Right. Now, we also looked at the trillion-dollar companies. We want to see whether Meta, Google, Alphabet, all these companies, NVIDIA, they recruit from here or not. So when we looked at that data also, again, it's very stunning data. As we speak now, 78 students are working in Meta. In Apple, 159 students are working. In Amazon, 296 students are working. In NVIDIA, 126 students are working. And in Google, 221 students are working. In fact, at some point in time in Google, 566 students worked. In Amazon, 913 students worked. In Apple, 264 students worked. This data is remarkable. You will not find that even in any of the IITs and IITs and IIITs unless you're dealing with the top 3, top 2 of them. You will not find these kind of companies with this scale of work. So many people working in these kind of companies. It will not happen unless the college is extremely, extremely good. That either the company goes there for placement or the students are so good that they'll find their way of getting into these kind of companies. Either which ways it is good. And which is what we're talking about here. And then we also start looking at where are the students working. It's also important for us to know how they're placed, where they're working, the domicile and those kind of things. And that also gives you an indication of how globally mobile the students are, that they actually find their way of working within the city, within the state, outside the state, within the country and outside the country also. When you look at that data, we realize this is extremely good because 76% students work in India, which means 24% of the students work world over. Now, this data you will not get it for IITs also. 24% of the students of RV College of India are working outside of India. They are global citizens. 14% of the students are in USA. 5,905 students are right now in USA, placed in USA. They would have grown and moved out of India and settled there, or they would be working on behalf of Indian companies in USA. But 14% of them are in USA. About 1% are in Germany, and Canada 1%, and so on and so forth. But 24% students are not in India. They're global citizens now working outside of India. That means a lot for such a institution, which is a local college, mind you. This is not an IIT, IIIT and all. It made a name for itself, but consistently delivering on the value by getting the best students in, making them skilled and employing them in the right places. That is RV College for you. And what I always will say is, it is not about the brand name that gets you a job. It's the kind of quality of college, the quality of intake of that college that gets you a good job. The good companies will always go for those institutions which have the best quality students. IITs and NITs benefit because of that, because the companies know that these best students are joining these places. And RV College is one of them. And similarly, we'll be talking about such a college every single day, one college. Come back to us right now, subscribe so that you are not missing out on the best college that we are about to show you. And then hopefully you'll get into one of the better colleges. Even if you don't get into NITs, IITs and all, you'll actually have a bigger option or a bigger pool of colleges that you can apply to and hopefully get into one of those colleges. Thank you so much. Namaste.